That's a lovely stat to start off with. I think more importantly, just looked at the numbers as I come in, and I know that we've had some conversations in here after the game that have been a little bit drab, and understandably so. But 21 efforts, 10 on target, 3 goals. In all honesty, we could have extended that lead and that goal scoring tally. I know the game in the end looked a little bit tighter than really it should have done, but in general, the performance was a bright one. It was a positive one. Absolutely fantastic to see Sam get a brace. Hanny looked back to his usual self, looked, so inspired and creative, brought a little bit more out of one or two others. And in the end, it's been a very, very positive night and a much needed one.
Thank you, Coach. We'll open the floor for questions.
Gary, I think what's on everyone's mind, Jacob Schaffelberg picks up a knock in the first half. Also, Walker Zimmerman subbed off at halftime, and then we didn't see McNaughton in the roster.
Yep.
Just get a quick update on that.
Yeah, I'm really, really disappointed about the situation that occurred with Jacob. We see it so many times in games where an infringement out on the field would be a foul. He does ever so well. He's paced down that left-hand side. I thought caused New England so many problems in the first, 25, 30 minutes of the game. It was a late challenge. In my mind, it was a penalty. And he's rolled his ankle. At this point in time, it doesn't look a bad one. But, we'll need to see how it reacts in the morning. But, yeah, really disappointing given the way that he was playing, the effect he was having. Walker had a problem at half-time, hence why he came out. He's usually, I'll go out for another 10 or 15 minutes. I know I can do it. But I think he was struggling in the first period as well. So, more caution in that than anything. I never want to bring him out of the group, even at 3-0. But, I thought it was a necessity at this point with few games left and to make sure physically he's in as good a place as he can be. And Lucas, strangely enough, had a bit of a reaction to his problem yesterday in training and was just unable to make the bench today. He would have been on the bench otherwise and had progressed nicely throughout the week. But it was he had a little bit of an incident yesterday that he found quite difficult and had a bit of a reaction.
Thank you, Claudio. Go ahead.
Gary, it might be unfair to talk about a particular player tonight after such good performances like the ones you already mentioned, Sam, Hanny, McCarty, Leal. But I want to pinpoint something and see what you think about this. It seems like anytime Randall Leal is on his feet, like he was closer today, he gets into the ball possession, a lot of ball possession. Good things happen for Nashville. Is that a correct assessment?
I thought there were some very, very bright performances, full stop. If you look at Randall in particular, I think one of the biggest assets today, he received the ball in more advanced areas. When we were in possession and we controlled some nice periods, he took up some difficult positions to be marked. He put himself in areas that were far more creative and were going to, I thought, be a bit of a catalyst for some relationships there. His connection with Hanny and Sam was a big part of the week, trying to find those guys in closer proximity so they could play off of one another. And also for some nice periods in the game that was there for all to see. Next step, of course, goals and getting himself in those positions. I mean, there was one fabulous ball late on in the game where he whipped it across the box, and I think there was so much pace on it. I think it caught Hanny a little bit by surprise, but it was absolutely the right ball to play. And maybe to your point, Gladio, that you know, we were finding him in those areas, and he was putting himself in those areas more often today. I think he has done in the past couple of weeks.
It seems like the second half, the team, I'm not sure if I get overconfident. I'm not gonna say that word, because I don't think that's what's the case. What do you notice from your point of view of what happened that allowed New England to kind of come back a little bit?
Yeah, goals. You know, it's amazing, isn't it? We're sitting here. I think the last 3 interviews that we've had here, it's been, like I said, a very flat discussion about few opportunities, few goals. And it's really strange when you get yourself on the score sheet 3 times, should score more, and are very, very creative, but somehow we've conceded 2. The first goal straight after the break, I thought gave them a lift. And in all honesty, it's tough for centre-backs to come into the game, and the boy up front for New England, if I pronounce it right, Chankale, does ever so well to redirect the cross, but, you know, 2 centre-backs, 1 forward in the box. I'd like to think 9 times out of 10 we deal with that. It gave them some incentive, and they slowly but surely committed more bodies. I thought we did a good job of putting a little bit of a plug in that momentum. Slowly but surely ourselves got back into the game and started to see, with their commitment of bodies, some opportunities come our way as well. But what you need to do at that point is get the 4th. You get the 4th and their heads go down again. But they're still in the game, and we saw a very rare error from Joe for the second goal. You know, a routine effort that had a slight deflection, but, you know, he'll be disappointed with the rebound. And it makes for a bit of a hairy, scary last sort of 10 or 12 minutes. But, look, all in all, if you'd have said to me before the game, look, you've been watertight, you're not conceded goals, but you're going to concede 2 goals but score 3, I'd have taken it today. The only day I would have taken it.
Gary, around in the second half, before the second goal for New England, there were all these chances for your side, and you know you kept going in transition and making the runs and all that. And then at a certain point, Hani Mukhtar kind of slowed down the game a little bit and kept the possession a little bit longer. I'm just curious, from your end, is that what you want them to do at that point, or is that an instruction from you, or is that something the players are making?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those decisions are going to be from the guys out there, but I will say this. There were points in the game where it was a bit of a basketball game, and it was very vertical. There's 60, 70-yard runs that these guys are making at flat-out pace. And then you're asking them to recover, then you're asking them to go again. At some point, you're just not going to get the quality out of those attacks. And I think what you saw were the guys saying, okay, we've had a couple of opportunities. It's not worked out. We got to be exposed going this way because we committed players. We're just going to manage this moment, control this period of the game, get ourselves back on top with the ball. And I thought at the point at which we saw that, they were very professional moves. We went in obviously in a very strong position. So therefore, for me, we've taken advantage of some good moments. We've shown a real bright cutting edge to the group tonight. And I thought the guys also made some very good choices. With some changes, a couple of things happened. We lost that explosive threat beyond when Jacob came off. I thought he was as bright and as effective as anyone on the field at that point in time. So we lost that vertical threat. And then, of course, you lose your captain at half-time. And there's some changes in the game. They took advantage of 1 or 2 minor shifts and the details of the game. And they made it more competitive. But good 3 points. Very, very positive display. Gives the group a wonderful opportunity to finish off on a really bright note. And if we can turn the scales our way next weekend, which again won't be easy, new challenge, if results go our way, we could jump a place or two as well, and that would be a wonderful way to go into the postseason.
Yes, indeed, as well.
Yeah, so, Coach, with the win tonight, you haven't gotten 3 points since Kansas City about 5 games ago. You enter next Saturday, you get to win, like you just mentioned, you can jump some spots. How important is that to either get a better place or go into the postseason with a couple wins under your belt, having good news for your team, and just, they can try to make a run in the playoffs?
Well, over the last couple of games, certainly after the Orlando game here, on the back of a tight fixture against Seattle, the main focus was to try and be as positive as we could, bring as many positives out of the game as we could in the next fixtures. The Philadelphia game was an easy one to talk about in terms of an away fixture. We could run into them. We were very, very sound in the way that we played, very professional performance, a lot of changes. Tonight it was vital that we put on a performance that showed some sparkle again. It was just as important that we scored some goals. It gives everyone a bit of confidence. I thought we showed the sort of character and display that we've seen here on multiple occasions. But over the last 2 or 3, it's just, it's been difficult to create that sort of traction and momentum. So delighted about that today. And that's something we can certainly take towards next weekend. Next weekend's result will be important in terms of finish and seeding. So, of course, we're striving for a good result. But for me, it will be reinforcing what we've achieved today against a very difficult side who themselves need a victory to make the postseason. So I think we're going to see a very different game next weekend. However, we need the type of performance and display that will give us a real boost going into the following weekend, which is, of course, the start of the playoffs. So, results aside, and I won't say this very often, the performance is as important as anything next weekend.
It was a really positive night. I think, especially the first half, obviously 3 goals is big for us at the moment. Obviously, we know we haven't been scoring at home, so yeah, I think it was important for us to get the 3 goals in the first half, and then the second half we were seeing it out. We probably should have scored more goals, to be honest, but it is what it is, and I think, yeah, if we keep getting them positions, we back ourselves to score.
Sam, congrats on your first and second MLS goals.
Yeah.
Disappointed not to get a hat trick?
Yeah, disappointed, but at the same time, I think I wasn't thinking too much about it. I think if you do, then it doesn't come, but it wasn't meant to be, and then hopefully there'll be another opportunity to do that. But yeah, it's important that we won tonight, and yeah, I'm just happy that we did.
How rewarding was for you, Sam, besides the 2 goals, that you were able to make those runs like planning to do in previous games and then you come to?
Yeah.
And then my second one would be, what about the whipping shot that you scored? Which, I mean, it's rare to see, obviously, but is that something you practice a lot? Or?
Yeah, I think throughout my short career, I've scored a few goals doing that. I practice it a lot from a young age, and yeah, it's just something I work on from when I was younger, and I find it a good finish for me. I try and get myself in them positions to do that. So yeah, it's definitely something that I like doing.
Dave, how important is getting this win? You've
Yeah.
not had 3 points in about 5 games. How important is this win, especially getting towards the end of the season?
Yeah, it's important, I think, for momentum. I think the most important thing was probably us getting the goals tonight. I know we wanted to score, but yeah, to get the win was very important, getting the momentum. And yeah, that's all we need, I think, to build on that. And then at home to, I think it's Red Bull next week, and yeah, take us into the playoffs. It's going to be important for us.
On your second goal, you cleared the ball from your own box, made a run, and scored a goal. I mean, first of all, how important is it that you do the defensive work as a striker?
Yeah.
Second of all, I mean, is that something that Gary's asking you to do on game-to-game basis?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that I've bought into since being here. We defend as a team, so when we haven't scored in the past, I know that when we've been in low blocks, we've been solid as a unit. But yeah, it's definitely something that I've tried to add as much as I can to my game, is being a good, reliable defender when I need to be. So yeah, in that instance I was, and yeah, I think anything I can do for the team to help, it's important. But yeah, I think it's something that I've definitely improved on since being here. Something that I've needed to do, because yeah, I know how good the team is at defending, and everyone needs to do their job. So.
You have a couple of very good games in the League Cup as you arrived. Is it tonight the best you would felt that would be?
Probably in recent games, yeah. I think I felt League Cup was definitely a bonus for everyone, and I think we've just been looking for momentum since then. I think definitely at home, but yeah, like I said, things take time sometimes, and I think everyone's determined to do well, and it's just something that is clicked tonight, and hopefully that will continue.
On a personal level, you getting back on the score sheet, like you mentioned in the League Cup, how does that make you feel personally, like getting back into that into good form, scoring goals, scoring 2 goals, and now you can take that as the season's over?
Yeah, it's definitely important for myself, I think, to have that confidence, and when the team doesn't score, for me, I take it personally. I want to be on the score sheet. I want other strikers, other midfielders to be on the score sheet, and if they're not, yeah, I definitely take it personally. So I think it's definitely something that I've wanted to do in recent weeks, and yeah, it hasn't happened, but at the same time you keep level-headed, and I know we've got the quality to do so. So yeah, like, you don't really listen to too much. I think you just got to keep doing what you're doing, and everyone backs their ability to do well.
Oh, dude, it's like super humbling. I thank God that I've been able to stay here for as long as I have, and I love this team, I love this city, and I love being able to wear the gold and step out onto the field and go from where we were at First Tennessee Park to Geodis and everything along the way. And I always talk about the days when we were in a shipping container. Like, it's been a beautiful journey, and thanks be to God, it's not over yet. And we're always fighting for playoffs. So the one thing that I do want to do is bring a trophy to this city, and I do believe we have the team to do it.
I never anticipate to ask you in Spanish, but of course I won't do it.
I try.
Well, I mean, what I have is perhaps one of the things that we don't touch much about in soccer games or after soccer games or previous soccer games, is the fact that you guys get involved in so many good things like you do. And the fact that you are right there with that, you're about to get an award perhaps on what you do, especially nowadays when so many stuff is going on around the world, and people are being hurt and stuff. What did you make of it?
It's funny. I think I read this book by Eugene Peterson where he talks about, like, we celebrate certain people, and we celebrate people for being good people, and I think that's the bare minimum. I'm a believer in Christ, and Christ has called us to love our neighbor, no matter what that means. And I try and do that just every day, and my teammates do that, the people of the city do that, and I think if we have more love in this world, I think it'll be a more peaceful place. And it starts from just a smile, man. Like, you're walking down the street and just saying hi to someone. You never know what it can do. Brighten someone's day, save someone's day. So I just believe in loving people and meeting people where they're at, and doing what God's called me to do.
It's obvious that you don't do this to have people like us or anybody else to tell you how good you are, how good of a guy you are, or anything like that. But
No, I got an Irish mother. Doesn't work that way. Yeah.
I mean, how rewarding is it though that people recognize what you do with other people to help others?
I think the one thing that I care about is reflecting God's light. I think if people see me and they see me doing things whether it's with the homeless or with Valère at Kicking It 615 or Kicking It 615, I think it's very important that they take that and they go do something themselves. That's the reason why I do it. It's to either inspire people and give people hope, and like when we're out at Cleveland Park, like, for a kid to see an NSC player come, like, maybe one day they'll be playing at Geodis, so it's like that kind of belief, and that's what I believe in doing.
Just back on the pitch real quick, how hard?
Yeah, no, that's good. Soccer questions are great too.
Follow it up. So.
You've been coming off the bench a lot more than starting games this season. How do you feel about that role, and how hard is it to kind of stay in shape even though you're not starting all that much?
Not hard at all. I mean, our job is to play soccer, you know. So we come in and we train, and you know, we wake up every day and try and get better. You know, like whatever role and whatever time I play, whether it's a minute, whether it's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, you know, I don't take it for granted. So I step out there and bring as much energy as I possibly can, and give the team whatever I can give.